So there's been a lot of talk about ketosis, the keto diet, and exogenous ketones, which are supplements. They're not medicine, they're not pills, but they're supplements that you can take to assist um, in in your ketogenic journey. And I decided to try them because I am experimenting with, or actually have, to be fair to myself, I've actually committed to intermittent fasting, which has worked for me in the past. I was doing it when I was like back in 2003 when nobody was talking about it and it didn't have a name. So I love it. I actually like to eat that way. I have a big meal around 2 or 3. I basically eat from like 9 to 3 or 4, and then I don't eat for the rest of the day. And it actually works really well for me, and I feel really great. And I thought, I'm not counting carbs, just so you know. I want to lay out everything that is happening um, because there are things that I experienced that I wanted to share because I when I was looking for information, there wasn't a lot of information to be found, and the information that I did find was actually very difficult to find. So, let me go back. Um, so I have been eating really only between like 9:30 and like 3:34 during the day, and then not eating the rest of the day. Just basically doing like a 16 to 17 hour fast, which doesn't feel like a fast to me. It feels natural, feels awesome. My body feels good. And I thought, oh, let me take these exogenous ketones to see if they can boost my ketogenic experience, even though I'm not counting carbs. Um, and or even trying to particularly be on a keto diet, which is like high fat, high protein. Those diets don't work for me. I've tried them in the past and they make me ill. So I know that my body needs carbs. So, and there are healthy carbs, there are non-healthy carbs, and there's a difference between cake and quinoa. But so I just want you guys to know, I was not counting carbs. I am doing the intermittent fasting with like a 17 to 18, 16 and a half to 18, depending on the day, hour fast every day. Um, and this is where I begin. I decided to take the Exogenus Ketones to help boost my experience because they come highly recommended, and they seem to be healthy and safe. So I started taking them about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and within a couple of hours, I started to get spotting, like a period spotting, but it was very light, and I had just finished my normal cycle period about a week and a half before, and about a week before, and I thought, oh, maybe this is some like residual and needed to come out. I don't know, and it never happened before, but I didn't immediately equate it to the supplements that I had taken. The dose for the supplements. These are the supplements. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't have the right to use anybody else's name, or I don't want to put a bad reflection or a negative reflection on a specific product because I don't necessarily think it's a bad product. I just want to let you know how it affected me, and then some of the research that I did, just Google searching, that supported what had happened to me had happened to other people. So this is what I took, and the dose was 4 tablets a day, not at any specific time, but 4 tablets a day. And the calcium was 100 milligrams, and the sodium was 360 milligrams, both within in terms of the FDA, um, way in the normal realm of sodium and calcium intake, because both of those things can cause heart issues. I didn't know that, but I know it now. But this is 100 milligrams, 360 milligrams. That's well in the safe range. Well in the safe range. Unsafe range for calcium is like 115 milligrams, 1,500 milligrams a day or above. You can actually give yourself heart trouble. So, and I didn't know that either. But this is well in the healthy range. So the dose of these supplements, once again, not medication, because all they are is exogenous ketones. Ketones are something that your body naturally produces. Exogenous just means that they have been produced outside of your body, um, um, and they have the same chemical makeup as the ones that you naturally produce inside your body. So you're not putting anything inside your body that doesn't naturally produce. And the way that it's administered, the ketones are attached to the calcium and the sodium to get it into your body so that you don't have to eat what used to be, I guess, after I've read all these things that I've read now, really nasty, like gelatinous things that you used to have to suck down and nobody could swallow. This has been put into powder form that connects to these salts, potassium, calcium, sodium, gets it into your body without all the nastiness. It's just, makes it more appealing to the general public instead of just hardcore, like, bodybuilders, etc., etc., etc. So I started taking this, and within a couple of hours, I started spotting, and it didn't really occur to me, didn't really worry me because it was really light, like little drips. Um, and then the next day, the spotting was heavier. Continued to take it. Spotting was heavier, and by the third day, I was in full blown period. In fact, I would say it was heavier than my natural period. I knew it wasn't a natural period because I have a very nice period. And girls, you will know what I'm talking about when I say I have a very friendly period. It always comes on time. It comes with 22 days, between 22 and 24 days, like clockwork for the past almost 20 years of my life. I know it's the only thing about me that's ever on time and on schedule. So I know it very well, and I know its cycle. I know the flow cycle. Um, this was not it. This was definitely being induced by something else. And this was the only change that I had made. I continued to take it because I'm not in any discomfort. I don't have any of the abdominal cramping that is normally associated sometimes with starting the ketogenic diet and taking exogenous ketones. None of that. But I did, by the third day, I was in full blown heavy period. In fact, I would say it was heavier than most periods. I was bleeding through multiple pads a day. I continued to take it for 2 more days, and by that point, I was done. I thought, whatever I might be getting that's good out of this, I'm not willing to have an extra period. I mean, even nice periods, you don't welcome more than once a month. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you've ever had a period, because I'm talking to guys too, maybe guys don't know all this information, maybe guys won't care, but if you've ever actually had a period, you know that you don't want extras. So, whatever good it was doing, and let me continue on what I consider the not so good side effects was the period, the heavy bleeding, and it was, not to get too detailed, but it was a red blood. It was a bright red blood, and normally period blood isn't really bright red because it's mixed with different membranes and stuff with the uterus clearing. Um, but this was bright red, and it was heavy and heavier than most. I usually have one heavy day in my period, and the rest are normal, and the last one just sort of fades out. This was like heavy, multiple pads a day changing it, blood much brighter red than it usually is. Like, I'm not willing to keep this up. Other things that I experienced that I considered to be not so good were my body felt hot all the time. There was like this heat under my skin that would not go away. And I would get heart palpitations during the day. Like my heart was racing more than it normally would. It never came to the point where I was scared or felt uncomfortable, but I noticed the difference. It was a noticeable difference from my norm. A positive effect of this was I had no fucking appetite. It killed my appetite. I had mono when I was 16, and I had chickenpox when I was 17, and I was chowing down through both of them. I had chickenpox all lined through my throat. In other words, nothing kills my appetite. I have an appetite. I can eat. I'm an Italian girl. I love fucking food, which is why I actually chose the intermittent fasting, because I don't limit myself to what I can and can't eat, and I can enjoy food until I'm full, and then I just don't eat the rest of the day. I don't like cutting out specific types of food, but I cut down on when I eat. That's why it works for me, because I love food so much. I had no appetite on these. I had to remind myself to eat for the first time in my life. And I feel like, yeah, that's actually a good side effect because it will help people who are trying to curb what they put in there, trying to take down calorie count or cut out carbs. I mean, this will actually really help. Um, But I gotta say, man, the full-on period was a shock and not happy making. So what I'm gonna do, oh, anyway, when I started to look exogenous ketones on Google, because Google is more of an, unfortunately now, it's more of an advertising platform than it is an information platform. First things that come up are all the ads to the people that want to sell these things to you. Whether it be a powder that you add to a drink or something that you add to a meal or these supplement pills, they're all trying to push it. But you get into more of the blogs, and even the blogs are all how wonderful it is and how wonderful ketosis is and all the great things it does for your body. And you don't really find blogs that discuss the side effects until you start to look for them specifically. I had to Google exogenous ketones menstrual cycle or period cycle, menstrual cycle, to find blogs that actually addressed the not so good side effects experienced. And I started to read, and then I started to like heart palpitations, exogenous ketones, and things came up. But you actually have to look for these specifics, or all the advertisers just take up those Google ad spaces, and they don't really let you get to those blogs. But they are out there. They're blogs and articles that I found, written by either people who are sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Either people who are experienced with the ketogenic diet, because they've been doing it for a long time and they know about it, or people who are just sorry about this. Or people who are like medical professionals. So I read one of these articles. It was an article that discussed some experiments they had done on mice, and they realized that most of the mice that they were doing experiments on in ketosis, to understand ketosis a little bit better, were male mice. So they thought, oh, there's actually two different kinds of humans in this world, so maybe we should bring in some female mice. And when they started to do, not these supplements, but just like ketosis in general, they realized that in female mice it was having reverse effects. So the female mice, whereas the male mice were like losing weight like crazy, and it was really effective to be in the state of ketosis. These female mice were like gaining weight and having different kinds of side effects that the males were not experiencing. So then what they did, and it kind of broke my heart because it just brought the reality of experimenting on animals to the forefront. But it's necessary stuff. They basically gave the female mice hysterectomies. So they took out their number one source of estrogen production, and without the estrogen, they were affected the same way as the male mice were. And it's been found that postmenopausal women have a positive effect from ketosis and exogenous ketones and things like this. The side effects, I guess it's just a clash of estrogen that makes this not such a good diet or supplement for women that have a menstrual cycle and have higher levels of estrogen in their body. That is not something that's talked about. And what I found, which is a little shady, I gotta call it out the way I see it, a little shady, every single one of these ketogenic websites, every single one of these products advertised a slim, fit, well-muscled female in workout clothes, which is basically a sports bra and tight pants, right? And I'm like, wow. The one thing that's not being discussed is the specific side effects this can have on females that are clearly the age group of the model in your ad. But it's the female form and sex appeal that you're using to advertise your product. Every single one of these blogs was a female. When it stands to show, at least by the research that's been done, females could have the most negative side effects from this kind of diet and this kind of supplement. And yet it takes specific research to actually find this information out, because all that people seem to want you to know about the ketogenic diet and exogenous ketones is how it's great for weight loss, which means it will definitely sell and appeal to women, because women are the ones that are most obsessed with things like weight loss. Not that men aren't too, but it's everybody knows women buy into this shit all the time. So I'm sharing my experiences with you. Once again, I'm a 40-year-old woman. Um, my best friend said to me, she was like, "Are you sure this isn't perimenopause?" Because she entered menopause early. She's in her 50s now, but she entered menopause around my age. And I was like, "I don't think so, because I understand it's possible, but I don't think that that's what it is, because I had no signs of anything like this happening up until the day I started taking these." And she said, "Yeah, but usually something has to be in your system for more than a day to start affecting you. Not according to the packaging or other blogs about how fast these work. These are supposed to start taking effect between 30 minutes and 3 hours. And that is in the perfect timing where my spotting started. And it's within 2 days, the day that I stopped taking these, within hours, my period had subsided, and by the end of day 2, it had gone away. So I know it was absolutely these, because I'm not showing any further signs of perimenopause symptoms. Not to mention the fact that in terms of my genetic makeup, which I think has something to do with it, my mother didn't start going to menopause until she was in her early to mid 50s. My sister experienced well, my sister had horrible fibroids growing, and she's in her late 40s now, and so she had to have a partial hysterectomy, but that's a whole different situation. None of these perimenopausal things happen in my family until we're in our 50s. So I still got about 10 more years of not experiencing these things. It was definitely these. And there are articles and blogs that I found to back up the fact that it was definitely these that were affecting my body. And I'm not saying it's bad or that you should even not do the ketogenic diet, which may very well help you and be very good for you. But some bodies really do need more carbs than others. And B, female bodies are different than males. And there has to be some more discussion on the way that this can affect you. Like I said, nothing happened to me. I wasn't rushed to the hospital. I didn't get a heart attack. I'm not dead. You know what I'm saying? Like menopause and all of a sudden upon me. I'm fine. I recovered, but it wasn't traumatic, but it was an uncomfortable position to be put in, to all of a sudden have this heavy period flow and know it was coming from this and I think what I was most disappointed about was the images that they use to sell these products so often include a sexy young female when it could actually be most harmful to her. And also the fact that even this, I'm not going to show you the packaging, but there's no literature within the packaging. Like anytime you get medicine or pills, there's literature within it saying if you have these symptoms, stop taking it now. Maybe you want to see a doctor. This might arise. Like nothing in here. Not even any literature on the benefits of the ketogenic diet. Nothing, no information. And the fact that I had to dig on Google to find information specific to these symptoms that I was experiencing, these side effects, I would say symptoms, but side effects that I was experiencing, is shady, man. It's really shady and kind of shitty that they're pushing so much these products to make the money, that you have to search for the downside, which is something that you should be exploring or know about, and there should be information about before you decide to commit yourself to a diet that may not be as good for your body as it's advertised to be. So, this is my personal experience. For all I know, it could be, and also I want to address the fact that I was still eating carbs while I was taking these. In terms of all the blogs that I read, no blog or article, excuse me, no blog or article indicated that it should have an effect that would affect me the way that I was. Like because I was eating carbs like, oh, 60 carbs, 70 carbs a day. That's why I was getting these like like this hot flashes and the heart palpitations. No, the only thing that the articles indicate is that all it means is that you're throwing away your money because you still have to watch your carbs. These are supposed to be an assistance or sort of like an upper for the ketogenic experience as opposed to just ketogenic experience in a pill. You know, like that's not what it is. They all say you have to be following the ketogenic diet in order for these to work, and that if you're not, these are just like pissing your money away. It's not going to help you. It doesn't say that it's linked to, oh, it's because you ate high carbs and you were taking these, your body is doing this and this and that's and if that's what's happening, there's also no information on there about that because there are no articles that address that either. So I really don't know what was happening. I'm trying to give you all the facts so you know where I was coming from and let you know that this is something that not only I experience, I'm including the blogs and articles that I read below so that you can go read them too and see the facts that were in there and discussed. And have this just sort of personal diary experience that may help guide you and help you understand a little bit better what kind of effects the ketogenic diet and exogenous ketones might have on your system specifically. So, have a happy Sunday for the rest of you, and I hope this helps. Thank you.